It's like Inception.
Welcome to GMTLDR for the February 2025 monthly update.
I'm not saying they're getting longer, but they could be getting longer. I'm going dark.
Bravo 6. Going dark.
Here we go again.
You won't be seeing me again.
I'm going now. Goodbye.
What is the art this time?
Oh, it's hoplite.
Karate, as some call it.
Karate!
Hoplite.
So we had some terribly sad news this month. Carla Horger, co-designer with her husband Jeff of the Thunder Alley series of games, passed away suddenly out of the blue. That's really sad news. Our hearts go out to Jeff and to all of Carla's family and loved ones. We will miss her.
If any of you would like to donate in her memory, we've put the link to Jeff's GoFundMe in the update, so you can check that out if you would like to do so.
So a couple updates on our digital projects. First, we have a tentative launch date for Mark Herman's Rebel Fury on Steam of February 27th. And that will also come with a Mark Herman Rebel Fury bundle, which includes the Gettysburg and Waterloo games published in C3I and a 20% discount on Rebel Fury. So consider getting that bundle if you want more than just Rebel Fury.
Mr. President, it's coming to digital. Surprise. This is very exciting. We've been meeting with Exia about this for a few months, so we've kind of been working in the background with them. So Exia Labs announced Monday that they're publishing a digital version of the award-winning board game Mr. President for PC, and it's on Steam. Right now you can wishlist it. Very excited about this because, well, first of all, we love Mr. President, but also because Ananda has come on to help with things.
The lead designer on the digital game.
That's right. And he's kind of bridging the gap between Gene, the board game designer, and the team of UI and coders at Exia, because they're doing most of the heavy lifting here. It's more like an advisory role from GMT people. It's supposed to come out in July. I believe that the second edition of Mr. President, the board game, will be going to final layout. The deadline is April 1st. So the hope here is that the second edition rules and booklets, they're going to be able to use in the digital game, if not right away, in a patch in the first couple weeks.
And the quality of the team that's working on the game is really impressive as well. I mean, there's people who worked on Call of Duty, League of Legends, Apex Legends, Valorant, and Ananda designed the expansion for XCOM. So there's a lot of great experience and quality team members working on the Mr. President Digital Edition.
Yes, and they're very excited about it from what we've talked about so far.
One thing you can do is wishlist the game on Steam, which, as Ananda says, is an even smaller commitment than a P500 pre-order because it doesn't require you to do anything. It's just saying that you might want to buy it later. But the more people that wishlist it, the more Steam will promote the game to people kind of everywhere on the platform. So we really need that to get the game a lot of exposure outside of just our customer base.
We'll put a link down below this video if you want to follow it to the Steam page. Okay, we will be having a sale this spring. We don't know 100%, and this kind of gets into some further talk about shipping, but we don't want to have a sale until the office and the warehouse folks are ready and done shipping the January shipment, because it's a very, very large shipment. Large is an understatement. It is giant, and they are just finishing up the international orders, which is usually what they do first. The domestic, they haven't started that even yet. So if you are domestic in the US, that's why you haven't gotten your games yet. It's because they're still working on the international orders. The sale will probably be coming in March if I had to guess, but like I said, the first priority is to get that shipment out. Oh, speaking of shipping, if you live in the Western US and California, you might be able to save money by using USPS rather than UPS. The totals are cheaper.
So just a small note here, these ads that are kind of sprinkled throughout the update are for our newest releases, whether they're new or reprints or deluxe editions or whatever. The ads you see in here are going to be in stock right now and are some of the newest, most exciting games we have coming out.
For those who don't know, Luke is our ad manager. So he works very hard to make all of these ads for Board Game Geek, but also we put them in our newsletter. We put them on Inside GMT. And so if you like the look of them, that's Luke.
We released episode 14 of GMT Talk last week with Francisco Gradaille and Mike Sigler talking about Puyos Regio, which is now available for pre-order on P500. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking to them. Just a quick note for Fields of Fire Deluxe. If you purchase the update kit, there is a counter guide that you can consult. It's on our website, or the link is in the update here. So if you would like to look at that, you could find it pretty easily.
Our box back sneak peek this month is from China's War.
That looks really good.
Yeah, you get a little look at the map, cards, and counters. This means that it's very close to release.
It's coming right along, so I'm excited to see that come out soon.
Sam London is asking for playtesters for Microverse. If you're interested in that on Tabletop Simulator and Discord, please sign up with this link in the update.
Microverse is not very hard to learn and not a huge time commitment. So if you want to play test and check it out, highly recommend.
So in Jason's update, he talks about how he and Kai are getting a ton of games sent off to the printer right now, and some of the streamlining that they're doing internally to make that process more efficient and get more games sent in, as well as a little insider information about sometimes it takes about 750 orders for a game to actually start to get final artwork. So if you see a game below 750 and it seems like it's kind of stalled out, that could be one of the reasons.
Had some good interviews this month. Check them all out.
The new P500 additions we have today are Over the Hills and Far Away, which is Volume 2 in the Bayonet and Musket series, Red Storm Southern Flank,
It's an expansion for Red Storm.
and The Last 100 Yards third printing.
So if you liked Banish All Their Fears, this is Volume 2, Over the Hills and Far Away, covering the Steenkirk and Ramillies battles in the War of the League of Augsburg and the War of Spanish Succession. It's from David Fox and Ben Hull.
And the expansion for Red Storm covers southern Germany, Bavaria, and northern Italy and Yugoslavia. So there's 2 new maps that cover those areas, and then apparently Red Storm fans are really interested in the aircraft. So check out the P500 page where Doug listed a ton of new aircraft that are included in Red Storm Southern Flank. Last month's teaser of a new battle game set in the late 17th and early 18th century was for Over the Hills and Far Away. And this time, game set in Southeast Asia, something new from Volko. Combat Commander goes to a new World War II theater, a new 14x from Marksman.
I think these are all Combat Commander.
These are all Combat Commander. Combat Commander Volko. Combat Commander 43. Yeah, you can guess the other 2, I guess.
Just want to remind everyone that we had 2 great teaching videos for Just a Robin Hood from Watch It Played. One that was a how to play video from Rodney Smith, and another that was a full game playthrough from Monique and Naveen. So definitely check both of those out. Just a Robin Hood is also back in stock as of January, so you can buy it from our website if you're interested. Also, Just a Robin Hood is on Board Game Arena now, and it's back on the BTG hotness. So everything's coming up Just a Robin Hood. Fred will be happy.
If you want to learn about Fighting Formation's 29th Infantry Division, Kai Jensen and Patrick Pence just did a how to play video at the recent SC HISCON Winter online event. So you have a full hour and 7-minute video teaching you how to play the game if you don't want to go through the rule book yourself.
On Inside GMT this week, we had an article from David Scholhammer and Fred Schachter talking a little bit about David's video that was a how to play for Congress of Vienna's solitaire system. So check that out. We also had a special article from Ananda Gupta discussing a little bit about Mr. President Digital, Exia, his work on it, why do something like this. It's a really good article. I would recommend checking it out. We also had a bit of a news updates and links article from Andrew Stead about Fields of Fire Deluxe Edition. So check all of those out.
We mentioned the large batch list shipping right now and having a March sale later on. And then after all of that, the next charge we should have will be Buy Swords and Bayonets. One note from Kai's production section that shows how well she and Jason are doing is that there are 14 games at the printer right now in different stages of production. So they are really working hard to get the games ready and out in your hands.
They're doing a great job. Lots of great content creators this month who have written some GMT related content. So you could check out all of these links. I've updated them. And I update them every month, actually. So if you're interested, check them all out. Look at this cover, China's War.
That's pretty.
And some new sample card art for Coast Watchers. I really like the palm frond art at the bottom. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Also, I didn't notice before when I looked at this the first time, but the background, 2 of them have stars and 2 of them have suns. So that's to represent the Allies and the Japanese, I would assume. But that's pretty cool, very subtle. I love this cover. Now it has the title and everything. This is the final cover from Morgan's Hubris.
Have the Next for Taiwan box back. Get a good look at the map, counters. I really like this little thing.
Yeah, I like that too. And then there's Minor Nations. This map, everyone's been going crazy over online. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
This is the El Salvador map.
We have some sample counters for Firefight Tactical that Terry's worked on.
These are so good. If you've seen the playtest counters, this is a step up. This is really, really nice. And it's definitely Terry's style. Like you can see that come through. It reminds me a little bit of the Plum Island horror style.
And then we have a look at some player aid cards for Thunderbolt.
These are looking nice.
Now for the designer and developer updates, we have an update on the Combat Commander series from Kai. Europe and Med are underway with their final print run, as well as Combat Commander Resistance. And then the 20th anniversary edition is in the final stages of layout. And Kai plans to have it wrapped up and off to the printer in March.
We've also got an update from designer NB, or on Non-Breaking Space, about Cross Bronx Expressway with another great look at that cover. I think it looks so good. But he's basically just saying they're finalizing on the artwork and they're making sure that players have all the materials they need. They're coming close to the end of their final editing, and the game is coming soon.
Colin Parsons gives a great update on Fields of Fire Volume 3. Development is going well. They've had a lot of people playtest the third campaign, Afghanistan. They got some feedback that there weren't enough IEDs, so they're tweaking it to make them more common. They've had positive feedback on the medevac procedures, and they're working on getting art for the whole volume ready to go to the artist.
Looks like they're making lots of progress. Here's an update from Peter Evans, the designer of Labyrinth, The Rise of Al-Qaeda, basically saying development's still continuing on. They're doing some playtesting, including some issues to do with the logic of how the Israel-Palestine space works in the game. So they're working on that, and then they're going to go through another round of mechanical and card design.
Marco Putre talks about designing the solitaire system for Lenin's Legacy. How initially he was like, yeah, it can't be that hard, right? Then he got down into it and realized, oh man, there's a lot of crunchy decisions for such a quick, tension-filled CDG. So Marco's making progress on the solitaire system.
Also from Marco, we've got an update on Napoleon in Egypt, basically just saying they're continuing to do promotional things and in the background work on the system refining, but they're still waiting for the game to get to 500 orders. So for those of you listening, please order Napoleon in Egypt. It's a great game and it needs your pre-orders.
Joe talks about how Resisting Revolution is currently on pause while he's trying to finish up the Pure Land, getting it ready for art layout. And he's also been conscripted to help with Elixto for Cuba Libre, but thankfully there's some crossover there with that and Resisting Revolution. So Joe's been able to make sure that the Resisting Revolution cards will work with the Calixto bot.
We've also got a Seljuk update from the developer Christoph Korea. He's basically just saying that the rulebook is now complete and laid out by Charlie Kibler. They're next going to work on the background book, and they're going to be finalizing all those things in the next month or so.
Evan Yoke talks about Solitaire TACOPS Ortona. He has been playtesting it a ton, writing 1,000 questions for NB so that they can tweak tanks in Melee or the withdrawal rules for the individual standalone scenarios, things like that. So they're making good progress on Ortona.
Stepping into Hell, the designer Albert Smith gives us a little update. They're talking a little bit about the difficulties of maneuvering within challenging terrain like Second Growth Forest and how they want to present that in the game. So they've been working on some different mechanics to disrupt precise movement. The first is called Drift, also brush fires. So there's lots going on with development on that game. I'm very interested.
Stephen Rangazas talks about the British way, enemy of my enemy. There's an interesting note here about how the British player has to consider what they're doing in the early games of the campaign, because their actions in the early games can actually affect what happens in the later games, like stirring up a rebellion or something like that. So it's really cool how one game in the extended campaign affects the other games as well.
From developer Alan Ray, a Thunderbolt update. He's talking about progress on the art and layout of Thunderbolt, as you saw in the art samples section, all those player aids. They're also working on the Vassal model and just continuing to make updates on things. They've also added an extensive example of play.
Jeff Engelstein and Mark Herman Markerman have been redesigning a few parts of Triumvir to address playtester feedback. They're feeling good about how it's turning out, and Mark is going to be going around to some conventions with a prototype to get more playtesting and feedback, and then the game will be off to development. That's the end.
The end. Happy
Winter. Happy Chiefs lost the Super Bowl.
Happy Jalen Hurts.
So yeah, that's about
see
it.
you next time.
Guess we'll see you later.
God, I got an audio only because I'm. What is? What was that? You don't know that that's not what I'm doing because you can't see me.